First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of March 15th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I'll move we approve the minutes from last month.
Are there any corrections, deletions, or omissions?
I don't have any.
Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the approval of the minutes as submitted? Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anyone wishing to address the police commission?
I'm not seeing, I see a few attendees, but no hands are raised at the moment.
Okay. If there's anybody that wishes to address the police commission, would you please raise your hand now? Okay. Chief, is there any correspondence that you feel needs to be read into the record?
No, I didn't receive anything.
All right, next item on the agenda, the recognition March Officers of the Month. Officer Andrew Runcinski, Sergeant Drew Sedlock, and Officer Kimberly Prada. Chief?
As you see, this is two separate incidents, but both we felt deserve recognition. The first one is Officer Andrew Runcinski, and this stems from a call. It was a domestic dispute where officers responded on March 7th. While the officers were en route, we were told, or dispatch was told, that the male subject was threatening suicide by cop. It was very basically out of control at the scene. Officers responded. They found an individual in the street with a crowbar and a female and a child in a car next to this person. They were able to safely remove the female and the child from the car to get them away from the individual with the crowbar. And then Officer Runcinski proceeded to negotiate with the person with the crowbar. He gathered information from the female on who this person was, their name, background information to use to try to gain this person's trust, and did a tremendous job de-escalating the situation. After about 10 minutes, he was able to walk up. The person dropped the crowbar. He was able to actually shake the person's hand, and they took the person into custody. Myself and the deputies watched it on body camera, and it's really amazing what he accomplished and how he handled himself. Very, very cool, but also with empathy, with professionalism. I can't say enough about how he handled this and was able to resolve what could have been a very something that went very bad. Instead, ended very peacefully with the subject actually cooperating with Officer Runcinski. So he definitely is deserving of being recognized for Officer of the Month for this month.
Well, Chief, I just want to commend not only Officer Runcinski, but really the entire department from the top on down. The training, the expertise, the patience, as you know, and as you so aptly pointed out, this could have been a horrible, horrible situation. Instead, the officer used his time, his patience, his expertise, and his training to bring this to a resolution that I think, well, I know we can all be proud of what this officer did. Commissioner Straniti, would you like to add to that?
Oh, well, I echo everything that you said and that the chief said. It's so great to hear that, I mean, that our officers are able to keep calm in such tense situations and, be able to not just do that, but to de-escalate everything and keep it from being a real awful situation. So just really, really happy to read about this and amazing job.
Chief, and I know, I think you probably could. Has the video been shown to other officers, perhaps at roll call training, or?
It has not, sorry, my allergies are acting up here. It has not. I've thought about that. It's about 10 minutes long, and it is really a textbook example. So it's something to look at.
That's another thing. When you said textbook example, the other thing I thought of was, could this be part of the officers' training program when they go for their review credit training? I'm sure there's classes on, I know there's classes on de-escalation and less than lethal force and those kinds of things. This seems to be a real opportunity of an officer who acted exactly in the way that he's been trained to act, and brought this to just a suggestion, but I think that's amazing.
Agreed.
I think that's a great idea also.
Thank you. Next, we have Sergeant Drew Sedlock and Officer Kimberly Prada.
Yes, the next one, and also the two civilian awards, that accompany this. It's all ties in together, so I can cover it all in the one description.
Mhm.
So on March 23rd, Officer Prada was dispatched along with Sergeant Sedlock responded as well to Walmart on a report of an individual in one of the aisles unconscious and not breathing. When the officer arrived, he found the two Walmart employees, Michael Rayot and the manager of the store, and the assistant manager, Crystal Colon, performing CPR on the subject. Officer Prada took over CPR, gave them instructions on securing the area. Sergeant Sedlock then responded. After some period of time, he took over CPR for Officer Prada, and they continued to do that until medical help arrived. And the subject eventually was resuscitated. And I believe, I haven't checked as of today, but the last I heard, the subject had survived and was still with us. And again, another example of using her training and also staying calm and directing the employees, and a kudo to the two employees of Walmart, who we didn't see it on the video, obviously, because it happened before we arrived, but
Yeah.
obviously did a tremendous job as well in quickly reacting and providing life support until additional help could arrive. So for Sergeant Sedlock and Officer Prada, we felt they were deserving of Officers of the Month. And we also issued civilian awards on behalf of the department to the two Walmart employees. Officer Prada actually brought those up to Walmart herself, I believe, Friday afternoon, for the two Walmart employees.
Do we have either of them in this meeting, waiting in the background?
No, Officer Prada was going to join us. I don't know if she did. I don't see her here, but I don't know if I can see her if she's not a panelist.
Trying to see the participants. There's 9. There's 2 attendees. Let's see. Nope. Christine Dennehy and Richard Chumney.
It's possible because the meeting started late. Maybe she wasn't able to wait to sign on.
Okay. And again, it's gratifying because we've seen this before, where not only do the officers perform remarkably in the saving of a life, and there's no doubt that if the person was not breathing and the person was unconscious and then was resuscitated, there's no doubt that the officer saved that life. But also, we often talk about when we talk about catastrophic events or first responders. The first responder sometimes that we fail to realize is a first responder is store security, people who are at the scene when something happens, and their training or their intervention can go a long way to make a very dangerous or very bad situation, they can make it better, and they did. And it's very rare that you would find, well, not very rare in Norwalk, I would say, but we have people that are willing to step up and help out and do what they need to do. And we see that over and over again. So my congratulations to Michael Rahote, I think, and Crystal Colon. Absolutely tremendous that they did this. And Commissioner?
Yeah, very heartwarming story, and I loved hearing about the civilians and the officers working together to save a life. And I really love the fact that we take the time to issue civilian awards also. I think that that's great. So as always, you guys know I always talk about how this is my favorite part of the meeting, this and then the letters that we get also. So thanks.
Yeah, that is there any, that was almost a month ago. Were there any pictures taken of the people getting the awards? Because it'd be nice to send that out to the press even a month later, you know?
Yeah, Officer Prado was going to try to do that for
Okay.
social media, but I don't know if that was accomplished or if they wanted it. I'm not sure. I have to check. with
Yeah,
her.
sometimes they don't want it. You're right. Yeah,
I saw her Friday, but I didn't talk to her today, so I don't know what happened.
great. Okay.
That was something that I mentioned last month was, every month we
Yeah.
get all these wonderful reports and I never read about it in the papers or anything. And how do we do that? And, like Commissioner Collier Clemens talked about, well, it's our jobs in part to go out and talk up our department and everything, but I'm always interested in seeing if there's other ways to get this, good information out there because, anything that's less than stellar finds its way all over the place, but there's just so much that we hear about every month that I never read about in the Hour or Nancy on Norwalk or anywhere other than, the department's Twitter page. I see a lot of stuff there, but it'd be nice if if others picked up on it and spread the word too.
That's really a good point. And I know that, Chief, you have people that deal with the press on a daily basis. I also have my communications manager who is in touch with the press and can help out in any way to just get that information out there, different things, in a world where the cops are being criticized. It's nice to see all these good things happening and making sure that the police officers get recognized for the tremendous work that they do. Okay, next item on the agenda, patrol staffing, Deputy Chief Walsh.
Good afternoon. March 2021, there was 176 sworn personnel. Officer Crawford is still on leave of absence till the 24th of this month. Currently, we have 5 patrolman vacancies. In the month of March, there was 163.75 sick days used and 162.75 workman's comp days. Currently, we have 6 officers on extended workman's compensation. The Detective Bureau in March 2021 opened 49 cases. Predominantly 13 of those were burglaries into motor vehicles of unlocked vehicles, which accounted for the arrest of 2 individuals on warrant where firearms were stolen from those unlocked cars. And they did an investigation to determine who did it and were able to make arrests. Overdoses, we had 4, and there was I think there was 1 fatal overdose in the month of March. The Detective Bureau is busy doing several ongoing investigations for current lateral sworn officers and civilian dispatch personnel background investigations also. And Leroy Presley was arrested on an arrest warrant, violation of a deadly weapons registry. Special Services activity, significant cases, March 2021. They opened 31 cases. They executed search warrants and arrested a subject by the name of Walter Davis for 348 bags of heroin, which was a fentanyl mix. They arrested Sylvester Edwards with a joint operation, who is a Norwalk resident, but was operating mostly out of Bridgeport. He was definitely a Norwalk target for several years. He was arrested on several warrants and with a large quantity of heroin and fentanyl recovered from his stash house in Bridgeport. They also executed a search warrant in Rudin Court, arrested Rasheen Thomas, and a large amount of cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana was recovered. So they had a busy month. SUV in March 2020, they opened up 43 cases, most of them being sexual assault investigations. Also an investigation brought forth by Norwalk Public Schools in regards to possible child abuse allegation investigation ongoing. And they also have a investigation still ongoing involving a road rage disturbance between a school bus with children and a motorist. We do have leads and we are pursuing that. Traffic unit remained busy from March 2021. The traffic officers, they made 394 stops, issued 98 citations, 6 misdemeanor summonses arrests, 267 written warnings, and 23 verbal warnings. They also remained busy. Sergeant Calise and Lieutenant Dino are doing a phenomenal job with them. Other action in the community policing, community services. The traffic unit is also working with the Connecticut State Police in trying to stem some of the drag racing that is occurring on Friday and Saturday nights, late night, up on the Route 7 connector. They made, I think they've made up to 38 arrests so far in the past
Wow.
4 to 6 weeks. All kinds of violations. They block the highway, they race, they take off. We make as much enforcement as we can. It seems for now they've picked alternative spots in southwestern Connecticut, but it's sort of like a flash kind of situation that we really can't control because most of it's communicated via social media. So we really can't pinpoint the location on when they're going to be drag racing, but it's a significant. We have up to maybe 150 to 120 cars when they do go up there. But the state police and our traffic unit have been effective.
Do they, I don't know if they can, do they impound the car or when they find them up there racing?
They haven't impounded any cars yet. I know they're issuing a lot of inspection notices. They're issuing a lot of infractions. The people who get caught blocking the highway and racing actually get issued summonses. And I think there's a couple actually like warrant arrest and prawn arrest of people who are operating it. So they've been up there a lot, and we've been working it around with the good weather and when we know they're going to be there. So
That's good because a lot of the neighbors, a lot of the residents in the area, they hear it.
yes,
All times of the morning, all times of the late night hours. So,
yes, they go until 3 or 4 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning sometimes.
yeah.
Community services continue to work with the e-permit system with City Hall. They attended Gregory Point neighborhood meeting, participated in Read Across America, and coordinated with the Board of Health on several COVID vaccination sites. The total infractions issued for the month of March was 503. The production overall in the police department seems to be picking up. That was a significant jump from the previous 2 months and last year. There was 109 infractions issued for traveling too fast, 162 for stop sign, control signal 11, no license 33, suspended license 7, no insurance 6, cell phone with 20, and DUI had 3 arrests in the month of March. Patrol handled a total of 5,276 calls for service and made 206 criminal arrests.
that sounds like you had a busy month.
Yeah,
And a productive
self-initiated activity is up, and so were the calls of service.
And I can't help but notice a lot of the criminal activity is significantly lower. And I think we've had that discussion relative to the pandemic. Things quieted down a lot, which kind of is interesting because I know people are frustrated and patience drawing thin.
Yes.
But it seems, worthy of note. We've had no shootings with victims, one shooting with a non-victim. And so it looks like, things are calm to a degree, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
Okay, any questions, Commissioner?
No, thank you, no.
Chief, any comments? Okay, Deputy Chief Zecca, the administrative report.
Hello. We've continued with our annual firearms training. That is moving along nicely. Some of the specialty teams have their monthly training, the ESU and SCUBA. Let's see. The most significant training that we did for the month was de-escalation training. We brought in an outside instructor who we had additionally brought in 2015 to train most of the department. and provided an 8-hour full de-escalation class for anyone who had not taken it in 2015. And then we additionally did a 4-hour refresher class for those who had already had his full presentation. Overall, we trained almost 140 people in that over a 4-day period. So that was a huge undertaking to bring the outside instructor in to do this, but
Mhm.
very worthwhile training. And it was very well received by those who took the class.
Is that what's listed on here as leads?
Yes, it's law enforcement active de-escalation. And
Okay.
it's taught by retired Lieutenant Kevin Dillon. He's very well respected nationally in terms of use of force and de-escalation.
Wow, okay.
And
Good to
I'm
know.
not sure if I mentioned, we also did annual legal updates training. And we did that through online training through Daigle Law Group. We're moving to do some of the training through his platform to push a little bit more training out on duty hours while they can be reviewing certain things that can be reviewed on the computer rather than in-person training.
A lot of training, very good. It's funny, when you, not funny, when you mentioned scuba training. On Saturday, I bumped into former officer, retired officer Bruce Mackin. He's living in Shelton now. He was stopped over at Steve Quantz's graveside service, and it was kind of interesting to see him there. He was in, he worked with Steve a lot, and
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, thank you. Any comments or questions, Commissioner Sternidi?
No, good job. Mhm.
So now we have personnel matters. First item is tuition reimbursement, Sergeant Rafael Fonseca.
Yep, this is a standard request. He was requesting 50% reimbursement of $1,533.88 for his towards public policy formulation towards his master's program at UNH. The course was pre-approved in October of last year, and all the documentation is provided in, as well as his grades, et cetera.
Very nice.
I will move that we issue tuition reimbursement for Sergeant Fonseca.
Okay, any further discussion? I do note that based on his grade report, it looks like he's carrying a 4.0, which is always nice to see. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is Detective Christopher Imperato. Ms. Commissioner, you want to move that?
Sure, I will move that item.
Chief?
Again, another standard request. He's pursuing his master's at Sacred Heart in criminal justice, and this is for the course victimology, which was pre-approved by the commission last month. And the paperwork is all in order, along with his grades and payment, et cetera. So the total is half of the total, so $1,517.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is Officer Daniel Vasquez.
This is towards his master's in public administration at Sacred Heart. The course is human diversity and social justice. The course was pre-approved by the commission in January, and he's requesting 50% or $1,445, and he has all his documentation in order as well.
Okay,
Got a nice A there.
Pardon me?
You got a nice A, that's good.
Yes, yeah. Commissioner, you want to move that?
Sure, I'll move the item.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we have a request from Officer Vasquez for another course.
Yeah, this is a request for a course approval, again, towards his master's in risk assessment and decisions. And standard request for approval, pre-approval.
So it's in keeping with obtaining his degree.
Yeah, towards his master's in public administration at Sacred Heart.
Okay,
I'll move we approve the item.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is master's degree annual stipend for Officer Taylor Eki.
She, if you recall, she was a practicing attorney before she came on the
Right.
department. She has her JD. The contract does not provide a stipend for a JD or a PhD, but does, the highest is for a master's. So she's requesting her stipend approval for a master's degree.
Commissioner Sternity, you want to move that?
Yes, I'll move the item. So she has her JD, but now she wants to get a master's also? Is that what you mean?
No, this is for the stipend. If you have a master's degree, well, if you have associates, you get a certain amount, bachelor's a certain amount, master's a certain amount, and previously, years back, if you had a JD or PhD, you got a higher stipend. Several years ago, the contract was revised in negotiations, and the doctorate degree or JD was no longer the highest. The highest you can now get is a master's. So she's requesting that level of stipend.
Oh, okay. So it's like a one-time like bonus kind of for having the degree when you get hired?
It's added to your paycheck, to your pay,
Okay.
base pay.
Mhm. Okay.
And I believe it's $1,200 a year for the masters. I think that's what it is.
Nice. Okay.
It's
Did I
not-
move it yet? I don't remember. If I didn't move it, I'll move it.
I see that she graduated magna cum laude. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item is a bachelor's degree annual stipend request for James Barron.
Yep, Officer Barron completed his Bachelor of Science degree, and now he's requesting approval for the stipend for that degree.
I'll move the item and move approval.
I don't, do I see the dot? Okay.
It's a picture of the
Yes, I have
degree.
it. Yep, I have it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item is the administrative list approval of administrative fees. I don't know if I have that document.
It's a email copy. Should be right behind that, right behind his certificate.
Looks like this.
Okay. Well, I don't see it, but that's okay. Maybe you could just.
So
update.
this is regarding fingerprinting, and this is a request by Lieutenant Weisgerber. So the state of Connecticut is increasing their fingerprinting fee from $10 to $15 per person as of July 1st. He's recommending that the city of Norwalk increase our fee from $10 per person to $15. The reason we collect the fees for the state and then reimburse them, so we really need to increase our fee in order to take the money in to reimburse the state. Originally, the state was planning to take over all outside fingerprinting, and that idea, I guess, is no longer there anymore. So we're still stuck doing all the fingerprinting, not just for gun permits, but for everything.
Yeah.
So it's just to keep in line with what the state is going to be charging for the fingerprinting and for us, actually.
Yeah, I do have it now. I saw it. I thought that was another request from Lieutenant Weisgerber, but I do see it now. Commissioner Sternity, you want to move the item?
Yes, I'll move the item.
So basically, we do charge $10 now. We want to charge 15. Is
Yes,
that,
When was the last time that it was increased? Do you guys know?
I don't know. This is based upon the state increasing the fee, so I don't know. Our fee is based basically on their fee structure.
Okay.
okay, and if there's no further discussion, all in favor? Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Next item, now the next item is a personnel matter. So I'd like to discuss this in executive session. And I know the chief has set up an executive session for us, so I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss this item, a personnel matter.
Mr. Mayor, did you want to just do the complimentary letters
That's what I was
Sure,
gonna say.
yeah, we can do that. Okay.
and then we'll be done with the regular
Yep, no,
meeting?
that's a good idea. Thank you.
So we got several in the packet. You'll see the first is from Scott Vitier, thanking a number of officers in our traffic unit and honor guard for participating in the services for his father, retired Officer Vitier, Dick Vitier.
Yeah,
The second was from a resident who attended one of the COVID testing clinics and was very pleased in how Sergeant Moquin handled her. They got there just before closing, and he was able to assist her in making sure that she got tested with her daughter. And she went out of her way to send that letter to compliment him for that. The next one was from a Danbury firefighter who was complimenting NOAC Dispatch and Officer Proto, along another officer, who responded to an alarm at his property. He was watching it on, I guess, on video, and saw the officers checking the house. It was somebody that went to the wrong residence, apparently. The next is from Chief Lombardo from Trumbull. They had a suicidal individual in call in their jurisdiction. They do not have a negotiating team. Lieutenant Lepore, Officer Williams, and Officer Bush from our crisis negotiating team responded to Trumbull and assisted them in successfully concluding that incident. That was back in February.
again, just another example of where we're able to work cooperatively with other law enforcement agencies and rely on them, just like they rely on us for a lot of different things that we do.
The next is was a voicemail we got regarding Officer Monteleone from a resident who came in regarding a restraining order she had. And he was able to calm the situation down and assist her in, what she needed to do to resolve the situation. So she had called to thank him, or bring it to my attention to thank him. The next is regarding, this was just an alarm response, but the resident was a panic alarm and wanted to compliment the officers who responded quickly. It was a false alarm, but nonetheless. And finally, just a letter from retired Inspector Mastriani and his wife. They had an incident a minor incident regarding property damage, but they also compliment Officer Proto on his investigation and being able to identify the garbage company that did the damage and get their mailbox fixed. And so they were just happy for his follow through in going a little bit above and beyond, which was kind of a minor call, but was able to resolve everything for them successfully.
Yeah, I was going to say that because, sometimes you get a call of that nature and, somebody might feel that, hey, it's pain in the neck call, or this is not a major issue. But time and time again, those little things that mean so much to the person who found it necessary to call the police, and it's very upsetting. Time and time again, the officers do what they're paid to do, and the people who are calling the police, they feel that it was above and beyond. but the officers take the time to do the job and do it right. And that's the result, is a letter like that. Commissioner Sternini,
I also, an aside, I like that the letter's handwritten. You don't see that a lot these days. No, same, I agree, same thing. I mean, so nice that these things that do seem like small things, and maybe, especially in a city our size, one might think, oh, they don't have time for that kind of stuff, but to actually get the follow through, that's just great.
absolutely. Kudos to all the officers for all that they do. And thank you to the people in the community who take the time to write, because sometimes that's not always the case.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we will come back into public session. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss a request from Lieutenant Weisgerber for the drop plan.
I will make that motion, and I think we have to go into the other link, right? That was sent to
Right.
us?
I have a question before you go. So are you handling that yourselves? Because I don't have that info.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah, I took care of the links just a little while ago. So they have a new link just for the executive session, and then we'll be back to this link for the conclusion of the meeting.
All right, so I'll leave this open. Okay.
thank you.
Yep, no problem.
During executive session, no motions were made, no votes were taken. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion that we table the agenda item, the drop request for Lieutenant Art Weisgerber.
Okay, a motion to table is not debatable. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we need a motion, one last motion for the day.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. See you next
Thanks.
month.
Take care.
Bye.